Perfect. All right. Well, hi guys. Hello to the 6 of you, 5 of you. Who wants to go first?
America.
Should we go in alphabetical order? Make Annika go first. Oh, Carl's hopping on. Yay. I love it. It really is 6:09. So, we're only 9 minutes into this thing. Carl. Oh my gosh. I was hoping we'd have a cameo from some child.
Yeah, we sure
It's
do.
a grandbaby.
Oh my gosh. What a face.
It's my granddaughter.
Oh my gosh. That is
It's a little bright when she wakes up.
the cutest. Perfect timing. I literally just hit the record button. So yay.
Wow, good to see everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Me too.
My goodness.
Long time. Well, we decided to go in alphabetical order. So Annika was the obvious choice. So,
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to tell us about your life.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Okay. I'll just start with, could I just flip the camera and I'll just show you the weather today in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have some the leaves fall out, not quietly. So I'll just turn the camera back on. Well, I live in Stockholm, Sweden. I lived there for a while. I work as an optometrist, specialized in mostly in contact lenses, special contact lenses for medical reasons, but just regular, all of the regular lenses as well. So I've been working as an optometrist for like 22 years.
Wow.
So, doing it for a while. Yeah, I really love it. Otherwise, I have 3 jobs. I work at my job. I sing in choirs. I love to sing. It's not paid though. And I try to do some workouts because I had a knee surgery, so I just really had to work out sometimes. But it's not a lot. But I have 3 jobs. That's all.
And also not getting paid to work out.
And, well, it pays off eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I keep telling myself. Well, I've been married for a very long time. It's like 27 years. I can't really imagine how long that is. And I have 2 kids, and they are 17 and 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What does your husband do?
He's worked at a Norwegian company. They did as a I don't know, really construction working, but as a head of the firm.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. So he makes the money. So I can be an optometrist, but because that doesn't make a lot of money.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go straight from Africa to Sweden?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just one year. I was just at RVA for the junior year, and I just realized it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I feel like you were there the whole time.
It was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. I thought about it this year because it was such a long time ago, and it's really on my mind all of the time. I think about RVA all the time. I really loved that year. It was just really, really good for me. It was my favorite year of my life, actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just 30 years ago.
Wow.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah. I would really, really love to see all of you just in person, but it's just everybody's so far away.
Yeah. Do you have anybody in Sweden?
Let's go to Kijabi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm we had, you know, Anna. She's not on Facebook.
Mhm.
So it's not really easy to reach her, but I have been contact with her on Instagram, and she lives up north in Sweden. She's a pastor
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
and a singer, and a nurse.
Wow.
So she has a nice life, but we don't have a lot of contact. And then we have Lillian Granlund.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, but she hasn't really wanted to have a lot of contact. So
Mm. Wasn't Gita in Stockholm for a while? I think
Denmark.
no,
she's Denmark.
I thought she was in Stockholm for a season though. She's not there now, but
no.
I thought I remember her being there for ministry. She sings as well.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I was at the reunion in Bornholm a couple of years ago when we met. And then I met my sister, Maria.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she just lived really close by here. She was a senior that year. I was a junior.
Oh, that's awesome. I love
Mhm.
it. Do you have anything else you want to share?
No, not really.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
This is so great. I love hearing this. Okay, I think Genevieve, you're up.
Okay. I live in Texas. I've been here for, well, let's say I've been in the same house for 21 years now. So seems like forever. And I've been married. Del and I got married in 96. So about 26 years. 95, sorry. I have 12 kids. We adopted our 3 oldest, and 6 of them are out of the house. 6 of them are still at home. I have 2 high schoolers right now, and a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And then my other one at home she graduated already, but she's still at home while she works. I'm a homemaker, and I homeschool our kids, which I've done not always, but it seems like always, for like probably 16 years now.
Wow.
And my husband, Del, is an app developer. He works for a parking technology company. And let's see. I haven't really been in touch with many people, just a tiny bit on Facebook here and there.
What part of Texas are you in?
The Dallas area.
Okay, gotcha.
Are you in Duncanville?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like near the Wycliffe Center area.
Yeah.
Fun. So where did you come back to from RVA? Did you go to Texas?
No, I went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for college, and I was there for a whole year, long enough to meet Del, and then I left because I was having a little trouble focusing on school, and it was expensive, so I
Sure.
left and came to this area. Actually, my parents were here at that time, and Del, that year when I was at college, Del was a senior, so he graduated, and his only job offer was in Dallas. So we both moved here at the same time, and I guess the rest is history.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where's your family now? Like your extended family?
A few years ago, my parents moved back here, so they're really close. They're like 10 minutes away from me.
Nice.
And my brother's in Edmonton, Alberta. He never went to RVA, but yeah, he's a long way away.
Wow. Did you always know you wanted to have 12 kids?
No, that didn't even seem like that wasn't even a possibility. But we did start out saying we would let God decide how many kids we had. And
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love it. Are your adopted kids related to each other?
They are all three siblings from another family.
Wow. So you adopted them at the same time?
Almost. We actually, our oldest is a daughter. We actually got our two boys first. We were foster parents to them for a couple of years, and then we adopted them. And then after that, we adopted their sister.
Wow.
She was older, and CPS had split them up
Mm,
when they took them into care.
wow. Well, that's a really big blessing for them to be able to have stayed together. That's unusual, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
That's cool.
I don't have to ask all the questions, by the way, if you guys want to jump in.
You're doing a great job.
I love it.
Yeah, and Genevieve, actually, we shared a wedding dress.
That's true.
Because
Okay, well, somebody has to tell that story.
I got married first, but I got it out of the boutique that's at our Wycliffe Center. And so it's free, but it's just you borrow it and then you return it. And it fit, it was perfect. And I was trying to keep costs low. My mom said, there's no way you can have a wedding in this amount of time. It's so expensive. And I'm like, I'll show you. So I got the wedding dress for free and then returned it, and then found out later that Genevieve wore the same dress. And when did you get married?
Shortly thereafter. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because that was
June of
March of
95.
Yeah, it was March of 95. So it was kind of funny when we were looking at pictures and it was like, wow, yeah. I'm not
That is
going to
a
do a
great
who wore
story.
it best by any means, because it was a little bit of like a outdated kind of Southern Bellish looking dress, but hey, it worked and it was free.
If you guys could please post your wedding pictures together on the Facebook group, I would really appreciate that.
That's
Wow.
funny.
What? Okay, so what's the Wycliffe Center? Because I don't know what that is.
From missions, for our mission.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like a headquarters kind of a thing, or what?
Yeah, they have a pretty good one down in Dallas, but I think Orlando's their main. We've got one up here in North Carolina as well that does like the aviation side.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we're at Carl.
Yay. So
I was trying to do my alphabet.
well, definitely good to see everybody there. This is pretty exciting. So let me think. So after Rift, I went to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And it's too bad, Genevieve, that we didn't somehow connect in Pennsylvania. I did connect with Christy and Boo. Who else? There was somebody, I feel like there was somebody else there as well that were in, can't remember, Messiah College there in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I remember somebody else went there, but I can't think of who it was.
Josiah, I played rugby with a club team there in Pennsylvania as well. Some of you might remember Josiah from the year from '92.
Yeah, big.
And,
Yeah.
and Boo played rugby as well with us for a little while. But went to Gettysburg. From there, I went to here in Columbus, Ohio, where I went to DeVry. I met my wife while I was out here, Amy, and so we got married in July, or not July, in December of '95, and been happily married for the last 25 and a half years. Well, actually, so I graduated from DeVry and got a job with the Intel Corporation down in Chandler, Arizona. So we moved down to Arizona, where we had our 3 children. I got 2 boys and a girl. Carl is my oldest. Caleb is my middle son, and Leah is my daughter. And we were there for 5 years, decided to move the kids back closer to their family. For those of you who are in the US, Arizona is on the opposite side of the country. So they were pretty far away from family. So we moved back to Ohio. And we've been here for ever since. Currently, been working for the same company for the last 17 years. It's a chemical manufacturing company, and started out as a network engineer there and went into management. And I'm currently the cybersecurity architect for the organization. And
Good field to be in.
Wow.
and then there's this little one, Lillian Bell. She's our newest addition. So my granddaughter. So she was born July 11th.
Wow.
And she has been our new joy in our lives. So we had big plans of selling our house and, you know, maybe getting an RV and traveling around and doing all kinds of fun stuff. And, you know, my daughter had other plans.
So does she live with you? Do you get her all the time?
Oh yeah. So she does. We're actually, my wife and I are actually in the process of getting custody. My daughter lives here as well. But yeah, I'm full-time parent again.
Wow.
Me and my wife. So we thought we'd have all the kids out of the house by now, which, you know, they're all adults. But nope, we're starting all over again. So
She is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you recently had a health scare. Are you all good now?
Yeah. So I've had I guess you're probably talking about my heart. I had some heart problems, I don't know, 4 years or so ago.
Yeah.
And I got a defibrillator installed in the side of my chest, but frankly, my health has been great ever since.
Yeah.
I was going into like AFib and stuff for a while, and I did this procedure called an ablation, and ever since then, things have been great. So
perfect timing to take care of a baby.
Yeah, for sure.
God was getting you all prepped up for this, and you didn't even know it.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So does your family live in Ohio as well, like your parents? Or?
No, my family's kind of spread all over the place. My dad passed away a little bit more than 10 years ago, but my mom's in Pennsylvania still. My sister and brother in Maryland, but all my wife's family are here.
Gotcha.
They're close by.
Cool.
So we've got a pretty good bit of family in this local area, and but yeah, that's the fun and excitement
I love it.
that I've had.
Man, I'm glad she was awake to be able to, you know, say
hello.
Barely.
just woke up, so she's probably going to be hungry here in a minute.
Oh, I love it. What does your wife do?
So my wife was a medical assistant for a good while, but for the past, I don't know, a few years, she's been stay-at-home mom, and she's had a good number of medical issues as well that have made it a little bit harder for her to work. But so she just stays at home now, and she's full-time grandma.
Yeah, that's definitely the most full-time job there is when you have a baby.
Yeah. Nice being able to work from home now with, you know, all the COVID stuff that took over. Not that I'm glad for COVID or anything, but it's been nice, you know, working from home and, you know, being able to be here for this one.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so good. I'm so glad you chose to hop on. It's been so long.
Me too. What a joy to see everybody.
What I remember, what years were you at RVA?
So I was RVA for 3 years, from my freshman through junior year.
That's right.
Missed out on my senior year. I graduated from Gettysburg High School. It was probably the worst year of my life because I was miserable after. I did not want to leave Rift. I don't know if, you know, anybody remembers the story at all, but my parents and my little brother were in Liberia on the West Coast. And 96 is when, well, not 96,
Been 90.
89.
Oh.
Wow, long time ago. 89, there was a big coup that started in Liberia, and my parents got evacuated. My dad went through some really bad stuff in Liberia, and they got evacuated. So policy at Rift was that if your parents, were, not in Africa or in the missions or something like that, then you couldn't stay. So I couldn't stay for my senior year, which was really, that really devastated me at the time. I really hated leaving Rift. So had a rough year. It just, the culture and things like that in the US, it just wasn't a fit. I mean, I had been in Africa for 6 years because I was in Liberia 3 years before Kenya.
Oh wow.
And coming back to the US was just miserable. I couldn't stand the culture, the people, just it just wasn't the same. So I had a hard time adjusting. Culture shock coming back to the US is kind of the way I describe it.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Terrible.
Oh man. Yeah, I forgot that you left our junior year. I do remember that you and I gave each other a nickname. Do you remember? It's all right. I'll tell you. I won't make you strain your brain because of our last name. So I would call you Peter and you would call me Jack.
Yeah. Okay. I had lots of nicknames,
Was that one of the nicer ones or?
Oh, I'm sure.
I love it. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, Katie. I think it's you.
I think Genevieve was Guinevere, actually.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we should definitely bring up any nicknames that people remember.
My gosh.
One memory, since Lowry's on here too, one of the memories that always cracks me up about Rift is the first time that I met Lowry. I remember I was picking my nose and went to shake his hand, meeting him for the first time, and he saw me pick my nose and he didn't want to shake my hand. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
That was a fair idea there to not shake your hand.
Yeah, I totally
That was
agree with
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
He was ahead of his time.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry about
That's
that.
funny.
I will virtually shake your hand now.
No, I don't blame you one bit. I wouldn't do it either.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I let's see, I came to JBU in Arkansas for I went there because my brother had gone there, my sister, well, she only went for one semester, but so that was always kind of like the place I was going to go. I had no idea that it was some private Christian school technically, or the expense of it. So that was a little bit of a shock when we got through the first semester. My mom was like, well, that was all the money. So we everything that they had saved, because they had no concept of what it was going to take or anything. And so, and we never had like a good training of any of that when we were at school.
Right.
So parents were completely unprepared. So thank goodness for like missionary scholarships and all that kind of stuff. But I did like 2.5 years and just got my associates. And my cousin also went there, and she was just like, I'm going to do my associate's degree in office management. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a plan. Let's do that. I can get out of here. And, so it worked out perfectly. And then met Kevin that first December that I was there. And then he lived in town and ended up going to his church and everything. So we've been married since March of '95 and have 2 boys, Connor and Adrian, that are 24 and 22. I'm losing track of them. Birthdays just happened for one. So just old. Then we left Arkansas. Let's see, 2004, moved to North Carolina. And my most of my family's over here, or at least my sister was, my parents were eventually going to move from Texas somewhere because we were all so spread out. And so they followed a year later. And then my brother got married just before he turned 50. And he
Wow.
moved from California with his new wife. So now we're all here in the same town, except for a sister that's just up in Virginia. So, you know, after all the decades, because my siblings are, my closest one is 9 years from me. So they all grew up in Vietnam. And then only my sister carried over into Africa with us. And
I
went to
had no
RVA.
idea your family was in Asia at all.
Yeah. So I was born in the Philippines at the tail end of the whole, you know, Saigon falling kind of thing. So I'm, and then my sister went to RVA for 10th through 12th, I think it was. So anyway, so it's nice that we've got all the family here now and closer to each other. And then, yeah, so the boys are both out of the house. They actually are in the same house together right now, which is, it's been a couple months now and nobody's died. So this is a miracle.
Nice.
But my youngest, actually, it's like an overachiever, graduated after 3 years in college and got a job at Vanguard a year ago. So then he bought his own house, just a small little thing, but he got like an hour from us last March. And then the other one, who's trying to find a job, and he's the oldest, is moved in with him for right now, at least through January. So we see if he ends up moving back in with us, are kind of looking at changing the locks and everything else, because we're enjoying being empty nesters for all this time. You know, we're like the old people sitting out on our rocking chairs on the front porch at 5 o'clock every evening. And the neighbors go past and they're just kind of looking at us. And now I think they're just used to those crazy people sitting there on the rocking chairs.
Shotgun.
Yeah, practically. If we had a daughter, absolutely. And then, so I work in IT for Domtar Paper, just over in South Carolina. We're right on the border. So it's a paper manufacturing company, and which actually did really well over this past year, even though people didn't need paper, the office paper, so much because they were working from home. But we also have ingredients for the toilet paper. So that kind of kept us, yeah, any of the like that kind of personal care stuff. So that kind of kept us going over the past year, and we didn't have to shut anything down. But I agree with Carl, the working from home thing has been a huge blessing, because our company was very against that kind of concept, very old fashioned with it. So, but we've done phenomenal, I think, as a company working from home. And so when we do go back, I think it's just like 1 day a week for IT. So that's, I can handle that. 1 day will be nice if the rest of it can stay at home and stay off the roads. But so I've been there for just over 4 years, which has been nice. And then my husband has pretty much been in furniture industry most of his time. He used to work at Lazy Boy building furniture, and now he repairs it for Lazy Boy, like going to people's homes if something goes wrong with their recliner or something, and he goes and fixes it. So he's
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, he did it for other companies, other furniture companies, and now he's back with Lazy Boy after all these years. So yeah, he's pretty good at that. I think what else? Update for Amy's behalf, because Amy said if she wasn't able to get on to give an update. Hold on, let me see what she said. So she is, I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but she's on her, kind of final months. And her goal right now is just to keep kind of prolonging time so that she can spend with family. And her mom passed away last December with cancer. So that was pretty hard. And she wasn't able to be there because of COVID.
Right.
So her younger brother had like video chat through the whole thing so that Amy could be a part of it. So she said, her brief update is that she's due to start a new drug therapy in 2 weeks. It's a new drug on the market, and hoping to buy some more time. So she did, and at 7:10, Jesse was trying to join the chat, but apparently she was having computer issues.
Oh, bummer.
But anyway, so Amy's pretty phenomenal and quite inspirational. She had a podcast out there that she did. If anybody doesn't have it, let me know and I'll send it to you. She has a Caring Bridge as well, where she gives updates. So
can you post the podcast on the Facebook group?
Yes.
I've kept up with her story, but I didn't know about the podcast.
Yeah, that was a recent one a couple weeks ago. Just prepare yourself with tissues, and it's a little bit long and it's pretty overwhelming. Let's see. I know Becky Hawsey was she was thinking about joining, but she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to, but she's just up in Virginia and doing pretty good. Both oldest daughter's married and her younger daughter is engaged. We'll be getting married in a year, I think. So anyway, but I can't think of anything else I needed to say.
You did a great job of covering everything. That's awesome. Well done. I guess I'm up. I'm the next K. Okay, so I live in Kansas City. So we live right basically on the border of Kansas and Missouri. When we left Africa, so I was only there for junior and senior year. There's my cameo. Hey, Sam, can you turn around and say hi? That's my 15-year-old. He's getting ready to head off to his job. Saturday mornings, he works at a donut shop, so it's an earlier morning. I was at RVA for junior and senior year. My parents became missionaries later in life. So I grew up in California and went back there for college. And that's where I met my husband. We got married in 97. So this was 24 years for us this year. Went to a Nazarene school there in San Diego. And we got married after I graduated. He's a couple of years older than I am. And he felt a call to seminary, so moved us to Kansas City, which I was not thrilled about. If you know anything about the United States, San Diego weather is better than Kansas City weather. San Diego weather is better than just about anybody's weather, so it maybe Hawaii or whatever. But anyhow,
and they don't have tornadoes.
I mean, it's true. There are earthquakes in California, but that's about its only problem. Now, I'm glad I don't live there right now. Let me just say, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But anyhow, we came
Christian just joined.
I know. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, Christian, there we go. I see him.
There's Christy.
Yay, I love it.
So I guess he got his deer.
I'm out hunting.
Christian is out hunting. Yep. Guys, watch out. He's got a rifle.
I know. It's a good thing we're virtual.
And Billy's about to join too.
Yay. Okay, well, we'll reverse the alphabet. That'll be great. Our B's and C's are joining. For those of you who just hopped on, we were doing this alphabetically. So
I'm just making sure enough people before P join, so we run out of time.
You're hilarious. Oh my goodness. So we live here now. I have a daughter who's turning 19 on Monday, Sophia, and she is a freshman at John Brown, like we were talking about a little bit ago. And she's studying family and human services, doesn't know exactly what she wants to do yet. And then Sam, who just said hi, is 15. He's a sophomore in high school. My husband is a chemistry teacher. So, you know, hearkening back to Mr. Hall days. He's been teaching for, I don't know, I think about 17 years. And he loves teaching. So that's been great. It's not been super great the last couple of years, but you know, he's managing. We're in person and all of that this year. So that's been good. My kids actually did not go to the high school where he teaches. It's always a very awkward conversation when people are like, oh, like your husband teaches it. Okay, but they don't. Okay. So anyway, they went to a private school starting in 6th grade. So anyway, minor details. He loves teaching, and he's very, very well known in the teaching world because he's a lot of fun. So anyhow, I have owned my own business for a long time. My first business was, I was a personal chef for 5 years. And so I did that and really enjoyed the entrepreneurial adventure. And I've been in Mary Kay for the last 18, almost 19 years. Who knew? This is not what I thought I would be doing for a living. I'm sure none of you would have selected me for that, having known me back in the day with no makeup skills. But I do remember Kathy Eaton did my makeup for Banquet both years. So there may or may not have been some blue eyeliner involved in that scenario, which looking back is kind of funny. But yeah, I love owning my own business. I worked from home for a long time. And this whole interesting last couple of years has created a whole new way of, so I've been on Zoom for a long, long time. But yeah, I interesting journey for sure. My parents live here now. So after they were in Africa for 10 years, and then they were in Mexico for 3 years, and then they've been in the States. They retired from missions when Sophie was a baby. So back in 2003, and then just recently moved really close to us. They live about 20 minutes from us. And then my sister, some of you maybe would have known her. Probably not though, because she was in 8th grade when we were seniors, but she's married to Frank Rohrabaugh, who some of you probably remember because he was at RVA since like, I don't know, 2nd grade. So they got married in 2000 and they have 2 boys. So they live about 45 minutes away here as well in the Kansas City area. So yeah, I think that's my update. Okay. So should we, I think we should let, let's see who else is on. Christian, can you talk? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got
perfect.
a sore throat, but I guess you hear me.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, give us your update. Tell us everything.
Okay. 25, 6, 7 years, 30. What is it?
You have 5 minutes.
In a short spell, 5 minutes. Well, I guess I have like 2 because then I'm going to park my car and go out hunting again. But I live in Norway, Bjørklungen, small place, 5,000-6,000 people. 3 kids, 3 girls, ages 15, 13, and 9. Married to Monica since 97. After graduating, I took I educated myself for like 8 years, higher education or university level. And now I'm since May this year, I'm in a new job where I'm I don't know what it's called around the world, but it's I'm the head of the communal municipality school office, which means that I'm in charge of 23 schools. Municipality here close to where we live. I like hunting. That's what I do during fall. We're hunting elk. I have a dog. So someone like this is a Swedish Jämtun. Well, any questions?
I love it. That is so cool. What does your wife do?
She's a teacher in a local school.
Okay.
We used to work in the same school. I was, what do you call it? assistant principal, sort of. But then that was back in 2012, and a lot of work.
I bet.
So instead of what we call in Norway meeting the wall or burning out or something like that, I went to more administration. And after that, I've not been in school, but I've worked with schools, but on a higher level.
That's so cool. I love it. So is it deer hunting that you're doing, or are you hunting something else?
Elk.
Elk. Okay, good deal.
Moose, I guess you call it, but it's like Scandinavian moose, which is somewhat smaller than the Canadian one.
That's amazing. And does your family live near you, like your parents, or?
Yeah, my parents live near me. They are now 83 years old.
Wow.
Still trying to do something or filling each day with something to do. Quite active people. And I have a sister lives in Mombasa right now. My little sister Anne. She's in the ministry for with Somali women, refugees in Mombasa.
Wow.
And I have a brother, older brother, living in Paris with OECD, working with taxes and stuff for OECD. And then the rest of my family are, I guess, around these parts.
Okay, that's so cool. I'm so happy you have
I guess
done.
that's all for me.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, should we go to Christy? Is Christy still on? Okay, there she is. Christy, can you talk? Maybe not. Okay, Billy, can you go? Like,
Hello.
I really can barely recognize you. I love it.
Well, I'm actually currently out at my barn. Woke up way late today. The baby was up most of the night, being a pain in my butt. I have some of my ducks over there behind me. Figured I better get out here and start feeding them while I'm trying to get on this link.
Good deal.
No idea who else is on here at the moment, but Bill Straub, live in Western New York. We have a nice frost this morning.
So tell us about your family.
Oh, let's see. I have 3 kids. We got Liam, 19, in the Army. Got Riley, there's Riley's pony.
Aw.
Got Riley, who is 8, and loving life and farm and whatever else. Skate, active. Christian, who is just turned 2. He is a terror at 2.
Aren't they all?
No, not necessarily. Riley wasn't. Riley didn't turn a terror until about 7 or 8. And now she's sometimes a pain in her butt. But my wife Lori, let's see, I'm going more, and it's gonna be dark for a minute. You might not see me for a second. I'll keep talking.
I seem to recall you have about 7 or 8 jobs.
Well, I've narrowed it down a little bit. I work for the school. I'm a school bus driver there. That puts me on a schedule where I get to actually spend time with my family instead of running around on 8 different jobs. Which with me is the most wonderful thing in the world. To take vacations and visit family, and I just, idea of working for the school and being on the same schedule with the kids is something I've wanted to do for a very long time and finally got to do. I
You still have your
also work
business?
I have several. My wife and I have narrowed things down more to working for people through our church, business wise, and do home maintenance and cleaning. A lot of which is actually volunteer work, taking care of some of our more elderly in the church. So business turned into more less financial gain than really being able to be there for people. And then some of that was able to change with working on post, being out and about on the road all the time.
Gotcha.
But that enabled us to, I guess, do more here on the farm, and again focus more on family. Like here's just some of what's around me.
It's really pretty.
Go selling the trees. Let's see. Riley's into skating, ice skating now. She's getting ready to start basketball. She is our active, crazy one for sure.
And you said your older one is in the military?
He's in the military. He's back home. He's now in reserves.
Okay.
And back home.
Good deal.
He actually lives, or in an ideal world, he'd be living right next door to us. While he was away, we got into, there was somebody who needed somewhere to live, and so here's next to us over there.
Oh wow.
We purchased a property next to us so he could live in there, and there's a 60 by 40 shop that I use on that building, or on that property. And we lent the property to somebody. We lent them the house when they got kicked out of theirs or lost their housing, and we haven't been able to get them back out. So we're in one of those situations where we're trying to get them, encourage them highly to move, so he can have his house back, our house back.
That sounds challenging. How long have you been in New York?
We have been in New York now for, oh my goodness, owned this house since 2007.
Gotcha.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Good deal.
And what else is on your list of things here?
I think you covered it. Great job. I'm so glad you hopped on
to discuss.
You did great.
That's good to see you.
No, but it's
so good to see you
too.
Yes, I love this.
Trying to flip around here on my phone to the different pictures to see who's here.
Yeah, you did. And this is being recorded too, so
yes,
you can watch the beginning later if you want to see everybody that was on earlier. Okay.
No, I will. I unfortunately, yes, I did not get myself moving.
It's all good.
On a better schedule this morning.
All good. Christy, are you able to unmute at all?
Yes. Sorry, hey. I was trying to switch from my phone to the computer when you guys called. I was like, oh shoot, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing.
We're trying to go alphabetically, so it's all good. It doesn't matter.
All right, so I missed what we were supposed to say, but just like sum up the last whatever since RVA or what?
Yeah, please give us the last 30 years in 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
You have to sing. You have to sing.
Oh no!
Everybody has to sing. You know, remember that.
No singing.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. So, like, where do you live? Tell us about your family, etc.
Okay. Okay, so I live in Northern Virginia, Ashburn, right near Dulles Airport. We've been in the news a lot, Loudoun County. I don't know if you guys watch the news, but my high school, my kids go to one of the high schools mentioned in the news, so that's also awesome.
Been
yeah,
paying close.
What?
I've been paying close attention. It's interesting to know that someone I know is there, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So I have two boys. My oldest is a senior this year, and he's very, Philip, he would love what you do. Like, he's into drone. He was just out flying his drone out in the Shenandoah National Park yesterday, and he goes out and just goes on hikes and does photography, and he just, like, that's what he does mini movies or whatever, short films. My youngest is in Cleveland right now playing in a hockey tournament. So my kids are so different. It's crazy. Anyway, my house is, I'm the only one in my house, me and my dogs right now, because Rocco went to work. He works at Wegmans. I don't know if any of you guys know what Wegmans is.
Like the grocery store?
Yeah, it's like a grocery store on crack. It's it's, yeah. Anyway, it's from upstate New York area. But it's a good company to work for. Anyway, that's not important. And I'm married to John Germani, who's originally from Syracuse, New York. And yeah, and we met at the University of South Carolina when I was in grad school. We moved up here so I could take a job. We were in South Carolina. I was working at a school. I'm a teacher. I teach PE, shocker.
So surprising.
I'm like Jan Barlow, baby.
Oh my gosh, but way cuter.
But I don't have a fat little dog that follows me.
Yes, you got better dogs.
I forgot about Jan Barlow. That is hilarious.
How can you forget her? Oh my gosh, what an impression.
Indeed.
Anyway, I love my job. It's a great job. Granted, my county right now, I don't love them, but anyway, where I teach I'm kind of not really in the throes of all that. So I'm out in the country, and like the kids that I teach are out like, oh, I'm going home to ride my horse or feed my pigs. And where I live there's, that's weird, right? So it's just in our county, there's such a big variance of rural and then like big city life, I guess. So yeah, I teach elementary, which is, that's my jam. And so my husband, like, he was traveling for his job, and but not so much obviously with COVID and everything. So he has been home for like a long time. Yeah, so we've pretty much raised our kids here. So in this Northern Virginia atmosphere.
That's cool.
And I see it's Annika. I saw Annika when we were in Bornholm.
So fun.
Wow. So anyway,
Yeah.
good to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you. It was so much fun. Just say hello to your family. It was so much fun to see them all.
It was. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good deal.
did I cover everything? I don't know.
I think you did. You guys are good. Love it.
And you went to Messiah with Carl. Who was the other person? He was trying to remember who all was in Messiah with you guys.
Messiah, Eric
Besides
and Boo.
Boo. Yeah.
Yeah,
Erica
was there
Boo was
somebody else? I
there.
thought there was somebody else that was there with you and Eric. Was it
Well,
just
it was Mike Barnett was there, but he was a year ahead, and then Kim Kirkety Cornell.
I knew Kim had.
Huh, did Kim go there too? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then who else? There were like Nathan Bellette was there, and David Kaguru were there when I was there too, but they were seniors. So
Yeah.
and they're a little bit older.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Messiah was another one of those like JBU that had
Not
a
as
big
much,
RVA
though.
group. Really?
No.
Just trying to think what are the other colleges that were like that, had bigger groups went.
I mean, there was a couple of us, but it wasn't like, JBU. I mean, yeah, John Brown was like
Little
RVA in America.
And a mission school too. So it's like we had from all over. There was not even RVA missionary kids, but yeah, a whole bunch of
I know
missionary
there's
kids.
a kiddo there this year from RVA that Sophie has met. So where's your senior thinking about college, or are they thinking about college, Christy?
So we just like, honestly, like he doesn't really know. I think he's like I think he's anti-college because he wants to be an entrepreneur, but I'm
great.
like, well, you might want to enjoy the college experience. So we went to visit Liberty. Like they had college for a weekend, and like my old like impression of Liberty was not a good one.
Right.
I went to visit in college and I was like, this place is crazy. I could never go here or send my kid here. It's totally different now. It's I cannot believe this place. I was like blown away. So
I've heard good things
facilities
about
are
it.
like amazing. You can just get a feel on campus that like it's just a great place, positive atmosphere for kids to be. The new president is like amazing. So anyway, I was like, okay, he could go here. This would be a good safe, because he's been thrown into like his high school has been like, just very liberal, very anti-Christian. So I think it'd be a good place for him to be in a like place where other people think like he does. So anyway,
that's good.
it might be expensive, but well, maybe it's worth
Becky's youngest, Ellie, I think she's still there. She was going there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I know quite a few other people that send their kids there, and I've heard really good things.
Yeah. I mean, I like if they were like this when I would have transferred. I mean, their college athletics is like for female is unbelievable. Like they just got field hockey and they're already beating like UNC. I'm like, that's incredible.
Wow.
UNC is like a powerhouse. So I was like, but I always knew if a Christian college could go D1, they would get so many great female athletes, because there's so many girls that I played with that had Division I scholarships that didn't want to play in that environment. So I was like, man, there you go.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now.
No, this is so good. I'm so happy you got on. And I think Katie is the one who knows the most about everybody. I nominate her.
I know. I know. Yeah, because I've talked to Christy.
I love that
I was
about you.
giving Amy's update earlier.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
So good. Jesse, I think you're up, girl. I cannot. There you go. Now you're unmuted.
Hello. I don't go by that anymore. I'm Jessica usually, which is strange, but my RVA friends and my parents still call me that.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry, you're not Jessica.
We can switch if we need to, but
no, it's fine.
We'd rather not.
I have moved a lot since RVA, and I think RVA actually helped me with that. And but I have 3 kids. One's getting ready to graduate college, which is crazy. She wants to be a high school history teacher. And she goes to Grove City College in Pennsylvania, a small Christian school that she loves. She's dating a boy seriously since freshman year, and she loves it. I have a sophomore boy in college in Georgia, and he's studying engineering. And I have my youngest is Lily, who's in high school here as a junior, taking the SAT right now. And I married a guy in the Navy. He got out of the Navy, and then we moved to Thailand, and we moved to China. We lived in Indiana, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, and now we're in Georgia. And we're tired of moving. But yeah. But
what were you doing in Thailand? And
my husband worked for Michelin as a tire factory, at a tire factory there. And I'm a school teacher that can't teach school that well because I'm not recertified, because when I moved to Asia, my certification expired. And so now I'm subbing, and I've been a first grade teacher for the last 2 months. I haven't worked every day in a long time. But first graders, I'm really seeing the love and the attention they really need. And it's fun having the relationship with the kids and teaching, and not having to do the crap that comes with teaching.
Yeah.
there's a lot of crap that comes with teaching, which I don't miss. But yeah.
What part of Georgia do you live in?
Augusta, if you know golf, that's where I live. And we're not golfers, but yeah. But yeah,
That's
the big
nice.
Masters is here every single year.
Mhm. I'm going to be in Atlanta in January.
Yeah, that's not far. I used to drive. Today is my first Saturday. I'm not driving to Atlanta every week for cross country because you go where the big races are, and if you want to improve.
Wow.
Cross country is over.
Jessica, my husband is a golfer. He's a real fan of golf, so we would love to come to Augusta.
Yeah, it's really big here. Yeah.
Does your husband still work for Michelin?
No, goodness gracious, he's moved. When we moved, his job has moved. He worked at Caterpillar in Indiana, Westinghouse in Pennsylvania, and that's who sent us to China. We lived in Beijing for a year and a half, and he was a nuclear officer in the Navy, and now he's back to his nuclear roots, and now he works at a government facility in South Carolina, but Augusta's right on the border of South Carolina, so we chose Georgia for the schools.
Gotcha.
So he drives an hour to work every day to get to, but he only has to work 4:10, so he's home every Friday. And now I'm working on Fridays, which is annoying. But,
How long is your first grade sub job? Is it the whole semester?
Until I hire somebody. I've been in there for I'm in there the whole month of November. But yeah.
That's fun.
But one of the teachers finally quit. She took a federal medical leave and said, I'm not coming back, and surprised everybody. But everybody was kind of glad in a sad way because she was not there more than she was there. So it's better for the kids.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can't see everybody.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on the computer, and I'm still
technologically challenged.
I'm still technologically challenged. Of course.
Go up in the right corner and it says view, and you can click on that.
It doesn't say that on my phone, on my computer.
It doesn't?
So just ignore me. I haven't changed that much.
I was trying to help her earlier. She says there's no arrows.
No, it just makes it full screen, so that's not the arrows you're talking about. So.
Oh no. Yeah, there should be speaker view and gallery view.
Hit escape. Maybe you have opened it too much.
I don't know. Shocker. I've changed so much.
Kendry's recording it so you can watch it later. Maybe you can see everybody there.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I'm spotlighting our speakers. So that might be part of the reason. This is so fun. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, maybe I'll see you when I'm down there.
Yeah. I'm not that far. Yeah.
Cool.
Miss Karen lives in Atlanta somewhere, but she's not doing well with cancer of some kind. She hasn't been wanting visitors, but Miss Karen lives in Georgia somewhere, somewhere outside of Atlanta.
She just retired from AIM. She was working at the home office. So she's like, I think she's near Peachtree City or whatever it's called.
That's like right on the edge of Atlanta, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the heart of Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm serious. Katie knows what's going on.
No, I only know it because my son just moved from Marietta. He was there for about 3 years.
Gotcha.
The one that has no job and no, outlook on life right now. He was down there for a long time, closer to Jesse.
That is so funny. Lowry, can you talk? I see you're driving at this point.
I love some of the accents I'm hearing. It's fun to catch accents again.
Oh, this is Lorenzo de Palmeras. I remember me from a high school track.
And now you have family in the background. I love it.
Yeah.
Or either that or random people. I don't know.
Kids, and then my wife, she's driving. I'm just listening to everybody. We're going to my nephew's birthday party, which starts in 15 minutes. Well, 10 minutes. So I have my 5 minutes of time.
Perfect.
Yes. 93 RVA graduation. I had no idea what to do. So in Nairobi, we were at a friend's place, and there was this little ad saying that study journalism for a year. So I went to a community college for a year, and after being in Africa for 18, since zero. Well, I was born in Ethiopia, so being in Finland wasn't that easy. while I was in that college, I noticed a little news clip saying that you can apply to the Helsinki School of Economics with SAT scores. And I was like, yes. And then I told my teacher that, oh, wow, I just noticed that I can do that. And she looked at me and like, Lauri, you know, the Finnish education is so good that I don't think you have a chance.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to show this lady. So I got in with my SAT scores. I needed a 1360, which is okay, I guess. I would have been better to get a 1400 or even more, but with 1260. So with 1260, I was able to get in a group of about 20 students. I did my master's degree in business. I got my finance major, worked in a bank for a little while. It wasn't my thing. I met my wife, and just in case we would ever become missionaries, I started studying Japanese in university. We got married in '98. I was still a student. Graduated in 2000. Worked in Finnish Post Office, the headquarters. I was in charge of simulating what will happen to the letter mailings because of email and everything else, and it wasn't good. I made this huge simulation model and told them that you guys are pretty much facing a tough competition. So I was working with this electronic services department when we felt that it was our time to say yes to God's calling. And we applied for missionary training, went to a small missionary, like a training center. I also started my second degree at university, this time theology, because I figured that if I would be working as a missionary, it might help to know a little bit more about the Bible. So it took me 6 years to get my business degree, and then it took me 12 years to get my theological master of theology. But I was working while I was doing my theological studies. We were sent to Japan in 2005 as a family. We were 4. I worked in many different small congregations alongside Japanese pastors. Got my ordination in Finland on our first furlough in 2010. Then after that, I was pretty much in charge of a very small 40 member congregation in Japan. So both my wife and I were missionaries, and she is a missionary kid from Japan. So she had a home field advantage in Japan, which is good because every time the phone would ring, I would escape. I would go to the toilet. I had a very scary bowel. So every time the phone would ring, I would rush into the toilet so I didn't have to answer the phone. But after 10 years, I figured out that maybe I have to answer the phone myself as well. So I guess I have learned some Japanese words. No, I never met Tomo. I met Tomo's father once at a conference. He's a Bible translator. So Shin Saoshiro, Tomo Saoshiro, I haven't met them even though I was in the same country. But again, Japan is a big country. It's about 600 kilometers from where we were to Tokyo. And I think Tomo works in Tokyo Christian University, or she used to. So now we're back in Finland for at least 2 years. Our eldest just graduated high school, is studying at Aalto University. So all our kids have been doing their education first in Japanese and then in English. They went to a Canadian academy, which is a pretty good school in Japan. It's a private school. And our mission, I think the finance department, they were crying every time when they paid the bills. It's very expensive, but that enabled us to serve in Japan, and we're hoping that we can return maybe in 2 years. So eldest is in university first year, freshman year in university. Our second one is in high school. She has 2 years left until she graduates. It's an IB program, which is an international program, which is pretty much acknowledged everywhere else, but the US is catching up with this wonderful diploma. Then our youngest is in middle school, 8th grade. Right now, I'm working with our mission, Finnish Lutheran Mission. I'm in charge of the work in Ethiopia, which is not good. The situation in Ethiopia is escalating, and the civil war crisis, whatever you call it, is looking horrible. But fortunately, we don't have any missionaries in Ethiopia at this point, so I don't have to evacuate anybody. Then I'm in charge of the work in Israel and the work among the Jews, some Bible translation, and then my home field, which is Japan. So right now I'm in the home office, and my job is to try to get new missionaries, and hopefully we can go back. So I'm an ordained minister in the Finnish Lutheran Church. I remember Carl and we were the only Lutherans, at least from Mr. Bannister's perspective. He's like, I thought the Lutherans are all dead. I remember that, Carl.
Nice, Mr. B.
Because Mr. B is like, the Lord be with you. And then I responded automatically, and also with your spirit. And he looks at me like, are you a Lutheran? I'm like, yes. I thought the Lutherans are dead. Like, well, no, we're really, up and running. No problem. We're small, but we're not dead. No.
Yeah. So funny.
So after getting my business degree, I figured that it gave me a good background to work on the mission field. So I'm stuck on the same path as my parents did, and probably my children will avoid the same path. So I don't think they will do the same thing as I did. But of course, you never know. I was 30 when I was ordained as a pastor, so you never know what will happen with your kids.
Are your parents in Finland?
So yes, my parents are in Finland. They have retired 2 years ago. Now I'm working a lot with the Norwegians, the NLM missionaries in Japan. So Christian, well, he's up of hunting now, but there are quite a few NLM people who at least know the whole Midas. So, oh yeah, we know the whole Midas. So it's kind of interesting that of all the people, it's the Norwegians that I'm connected with nowadays.
Of all the people.
Where in Finland do you live, Lauri?
We live in Vantaa, which is where the Helsinki airport is. It's not, Helsinki Vantaa airport. So Helsinki is the capital city, and they have their airport in Vantaa. And of course, they call the airport Helsinki Airport instead of Vantaa Airport because no one knows Vantaa.
I don't know.
Yeah, Vantaa. Look it up on the map. But so we might be going back in 2 years, or we might stay in Finland. So we'll see how things go.
Wow.
It's interesting. It's very dark in the morning when we wake up, and it's dark in the evenings, and it's just pretty much dark. So I miss being in Japan. And the food is horrible in Finland. The rice is just unthinkable. So I'm having a little, culture shock returning to my home country, which I've spent what, 15 years in Africa, 15 years in Finland, and 15 years in Japan. So now I'm kind of afraid that I will become a Finnish person after all these years, because the balance is tipping towards a Finnish side.
That is
At least the
awesome.
white skin does.
Yeah. But I'm all for, what was it, reunion 93, so the 23 in Kijabi. If we have it before the fall, I might be able to come. If it's August or beyond August, then I'll probably be in Japan. So let's have it before the summer is over.
Lauri, is Japanese a total language?
Japanese is easy. They tell me that after 30 years it gets easier. So I'm halfway down, and hopefully after another 15 years I'll be able to master the language.
Oh my gosh.
After living in Thailand, it was very hard to learn because of the tones. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, it looks like you're at your location. Fun fact, Lauri was my very first date ever. When I first came to RVA, we went to some dinner, something.
Oh yes, I do remember you. I still remember you. So
In a good
Well,
way.
that's good.
In a good way.
I'm glad I
Oh.
was remembered.
But there's some other people here that I did go on a date with. So yeah.
Well,
So okay. So I've been
you got
married since
around.
98. I've been married since 98. Yeah. So next year will be what? 23 years. So we're two years behind everybody.
Or
But,
more for some
yeah.
of these people.
Yeah, for some of those, the quick ones.
The quick ones.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I had to wait for quite a few. I wanted to get married earlier, but my wife is smart. You know, she likes to think about things before going into hasty decisions.
I guess she's stuck with you.
Yeah, she's stuck with me. I'm stuck with her. We love each other, so we're happy. Looking forward to the next 27 years.
I love it. I love it. Well, have
So
a
this
fun
is
time at the birthday party.
So this is the finished suburb. Let's see, kind of change the camera.
Oh, cool.
So this is a finished suburb in Hyvinkää, about 35 minutes from the airport. The cars are really dirty compared to the cars in Japan, and the houses are huge. In Japan, you could have probably four buildings on these on these plots. But I guess it's the same in America.
Yeah.
The building we used to live in Japan, the distance between the wall and the fence was 60 centimeters, and because of some of the pipes on the outside of the building, there are some areas you can't even navigate, you can't go through. And I do have you know, I'm middle-aged, and I do have my barrel. I used to have a six-pack when I was in high school, but now I have a barrel, and the barrel prevented me from going and picking up some weeds. And the neighbor, this tiny Japanese old guy in his 70s or 80s, he was just laughing at that crazy foreigner trying to squeeze through a little hole between the wall and the pipes and everything else.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
that is hilarious. Oh,
but,
I'm so glad you were able to be on.
Yeah, sorry, I missed. I'll be missing, but I'll be looking at the video afterwards. So
yes, I think we just have Philip left.
Philip.
I know.
Yeah, he came to Japan many times and never came to my house. I'm kind of, you know, partly offended.
I let you know I was coming, and it just turned out that we happened to be on the opposite side of the country, unfortunately.
I know, because everything's Japan. Well, that's the thing, you know, when there was a little earthquake and the tsunami and the nuclear reactor blowing up and everything else, people freaked out in Finland. And like, guys, come on, it's 800 kilometers from us, and we are in the safest spot in the world. Why? Because, you know, if you look at the world, all the, you know, how the winds blow on you know, everything goes to the ocean first, and it traverses, it goes around the whole globe before it comes back to the Western Japan. So I'm like, you know, we're in the safest spot, but people, for some reason, they didn't believe me. But yeah, we're okay. Philip, next time in 23, let's meet in Japan or
Sounds
in
good.
Kajabi.
Yeah, that sounds good too. Yeah, I'm really keen for a reunion in Kajabi. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, everybody, see ya.
See ya.
Bye for now. Okay.
Good to see you.
Mata ne. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right,
you're
up. Yeah, so 93. I suppose for some people on here, Billy, it was 92 that Billy disappeared on us, unfortunately. We really tried to convince him.
And Carl.
And Carl, yeah. It was yeah, that last year was awesome. And look, there's nothing to compare to RVA. It's something you can't explain to people, something you can't get over, even if you want to. So yeah, but yeah, I moved from RVA. I actually already had a job when I left RVA. I did my work experience when you guys were all on senior safari. I was working in Nairobi at MAF, doing my job interview and work placement. So I went straight from Kajabi to Ballarat in Australia to start working for MAF. I did 6 years with them. I had my oldest daughter when I was there. Her name is Jessica. So there you go, Jessie. And she prefers to be called Jessica too, not Jessie. Her middle name's May, and if I really want to rile her up, I call her Jessie May, and that really drives her nuts, but it's good fun. Yeah, my first marriage didn't exactly go to plan. 20 years in, she decided that that was enough of that. So anyway, enough of that. But I was fortunate enough to meet my new wife, and Danielle and Kendry and a few others actually got to meet her in Chicago when we had a bit of a reunion. What was that, 15 year? No, 20, 25. How many years
It was 25 because it was 2018.
Yeah, there you go. It just sounds weird to think in the 20s and 30s that talking about reunions, but anyway. Yeah, so
we're old.
Exactly. Yeah, last 4 years for me has been a roller coaster. I went from 2 kids to suddenly 4 kids, and that was sort of cool. My youngest is 20. My oldest stepson shares a birthday with me, which was devastating because he is the center of attention of everything. So I don't have a birthday anymore. The good thing about that is 4 years ago was when he took my birthday. So therefore I'm still 4 years younger than.
You haven't aged.
Exactly. So yeah, I do nerd stuff still. So nothing really has changed there. You can probably tell by the background behind me. There's drones and crap everywhere. I do drones. That's what I do. Anything that needs to be automated. Some of our autopilots, speaking of Larry before, were flying over Fukushima doing radiation testing and stuff like that. So yeah, anything that sort of needs to fly or drive or swim or anything like that, we do that sort of stuff. So I run a small company called Cube Pilot. We supply the US military and all sorts of people with drone stuff, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, we didn't intend on that. I didn't get into that on purpose. I started at MAF as an aircraft engineer. I didn't fit in well with MAF, to put it nicely. 6 years in, I'd had enough of the politics, the hypocrisy, and a few things. Fortunately, so had MAF International. And a couple of years later, all of the senior management got booted, and MAF International took over, and it's a really cool place now. But MAF Australia was a bit toxic at the time, and I went from there to Boeing Weapons, just to balance things up, saving lives, blowing people up. I did a year or so with them, and that was very interesting. That's all classified stuff, and I was all very excited about that, telling my son about something the other day, and I realized that the project I've been working on has been retired for 5 years, and it sort of makes me feel old because it's no longer even classified. So yeah, suddenly realizing getting old. Yeah, we live in Geelong in Australia. My parents are here. My sister Rebecca's here. A few of you still maintain contact with Beck with her singing and stuff. I think there's still some attempts of doing a Maibu Yeah or something like that with a group. So that hasn't quite happened, but anyway, I think there's an ongoing plan for that. And yeah, my dad's still attempting to be in Tanzania, but due to the fact that Australia is now locked down like Fort Knox, and it's easier to get in and out of North Korea than it is Australia, stuck here. And yeah, look, it's crazy at the moment. If you're looking at world politics, we've got rules that ban parents from praying for, you're not allowed to pray for your children if they talk about particular topics. And to pray for them, that is now against the law in Victoria. This is not an Australia thing though, so ignore the news when they say Australia's gone nuts. It's not Australia, it's just a little bit of Australia's gone a bit nuts. The rest of it's all cool. Queensland, where all the reefs are and all the good holiday places, it's all sort of okay, so it's all good, not where Karina is. Yeah, but anyway, so we've got 5 acres, got a farm here. If I was talking to you last week, I would have said we have about 30 cattle here, but they all went off to market, so we've only got 3 cattle at the moment.
Oh my.
Got a few sheep and a few chickens, and yeah, sort of keeps us all busy. And yeah, this place definitely smells like cow poo. So it's got that lovely aroma about it.
30 on 5 acres.
Yeah, we're only on 5 acres. We're pretty close into town. Like we're 10 minutes away from the center of the city. So it's sort of a nice combination of, we pretend we're in the country, but if you just drive down the road, it's suburbia 1 kilometer down the road from us. So really good. We've got the, I suppose the equivalent of Home Depot, Bunnings, is 5 minutes down the road. So I spend way too much money there.
Don't we all?
That's funny. Yeah. Are any of your kids
Home
still
Depot
at home, Philip? Or are they all out of the house?
My youngest son, Ben, is still at home. He has just started an apprenticeship. He took a gap year from uni after doing 1 day of university. He decided that university wasn't for him. He's now basically doing pretty much the same apprenticeship I did, except he's doing it in marine instead of aviation. Been doing that for 2 weeks so far, and he is exhausted. He is grumpy, tired, because he has never had to work 40 hours in a week before in his life. So now he's understanding that school life is really good and easy, and now he's an adult. So
well, welcome to adulting. What
Yeah,
does
so
Danielle do?
Danielle's a nurse, though she's pretty much full-time busy with stuff around the farm and stuff to do with everything else we do here. There's too many things going on here. We have our house, which is just that way. I'm actually in our office for the company office, which is sort of halfway down the farm. And yeah, we have a bunch of staff working out of here, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Keeps us going. And when I say a bunch of staff working out of here, one of our staff members went back to India for his sister's wedding just as COVID hit, and he's been stuck there. So he's due to come back in about a week and a bit, finally. Managed to get a travel permit for him to get back into the country, if he can get out of India. So he'll be back soon. Weird. And Ali and Michael got married to each other, so they're sort of 2 staff, but yeah, so it's yeah. It's a bit of a family of staff. Everyone's all good friends. So yeah, we haven't had many in office for a while, but it's good to finally get back to that. So yeah. Anyway, Phil Andrews was with me at MAF. He was in head office. We were down the mere workers. He was in the executive side of things. He's still doing stuff for MAF, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but I think I've caught up with Chad Coates. I don't know if any of you guys remember Chad.
Yeah. He was a year below us, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Year below. Yeah, I think the year below. Yeah. Yeah. So managed to catch up with a few various people in my travels. Managed to visit Gita in Denmark and a few other people around the places. I've done my traveling around the world with various jobs. So that's been really cool. It's always exciting to catch up, and took my kids to RVA. And then a couple of years later, actually took my son back, and we stayed with the Kinses and spent some time there. Borrowed Eric's Land Cruiser and drove down to Tanzania and did a whole bunch of cool stuff there. And drove from the middle of Serengeti back to Nairobi in 1 day to make sure we got the midnight release of Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious.
Anyway, so miss all of you guys, and yeah, I won't be talking about who I went out with and didn't go out with and all that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, does anybody have any other updates on anybody, or something that you thought of that you didn't say when it was your turn? And if anybody has to hop off, I totally get it. We've been on for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Here, let's go to gallery view.
Could probably talk for the rest of the day, but
Hey!
I know, but Genevieve has a sweetie on her lap now.
Yeah, this is Beata. She's 3.
Hello.
So sweet. I love it.
Crazy.
Well, I know Charity is working like crazy hours, and she has 3 girls, and her husband just kind of became a stay-at-home dad. So kind of balancing out some of the work-life balance situation there, so she can.
Charity and I have been in touch comparing where we live, like.
Yeah, she lives in Chicago.
Yeah,
or outside of Chicago.
Yeah, since she said that where she lives wants to emulate where Christy is, which is not a good thing.
Us, honestly, like they're crazy town.
Yeah,
it's about as bad here.
Isn't Kylie the principal at RVA now?
Is she?
I thought so. I thought so.
Not turning up to this call.
Look at you.
Mark, didn't he just retire? Mark Kinzer?
Yeah, Mark just retired.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so who's replacing?
That's
Anyone
funny.
else?
I mean, I know that Kylie and Todd just had one kid graduate, because that was what was so funny. It was like there was about 3 or 4 RVAers, like either our class or around our class, that just had kids that graduated from RVA, which was so crazy. Oh, like Doug Hanna.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were just in the States.
Yeah.
Or not in the States, in Canada.
Yeah.
Dropping off their oldest.
Ella?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Ellie.
She was at our what year was that, our 15 year when we were at Myrtle Beach? They were there.
And they came to the one in Chicago too.
Okay. Yeah.
They live are they in Zambia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark and Carmen
are. Yeah.
Mark and Carmen
are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Zoom call and Carmen was like walking around the village. And so that was like the little kids are like waving to us, and that was thankfully she didn't eat samosas in front of us. She said she was going to.
Yeah, she and Mark work for Water 4, which is a really cool organization. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but you should. I post about it regularly. I discovered it a couple of years ago before I knew that they worked for the organization, but basically it's a combination of entrepreneurship and clean water. It's really fascinating. So they're working with that organization in Zambia, which is where my parents were when we were in Africa. So any other updates or thoughts?
Cool.
I'm sure that things will occur to us as soon as we get off the call.
I'm sure. So maybe the RVA93 page will be a little bit more active now.
Yeah.
Right?
The possibility.
I'm not on Facebook, so is that on Facebook?
It is on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Or
Sorry.
Metaverse, whatever it's called now.
Whatever it's called now.
Yeah, did it actually officially change names?
I don't know. I saw on my Instagram that it said brought to you by Meta, and I was like, what is that?
They're not changing the name of the social media site. They're just changing the name of the parent company.
Yeah. A bit like Google's moved to Alphabet. Same thing.
Is that? I didn't even know that.
Google's
I'm
now
sorry,
Alphabet.
so what, you have to say like, okay, Alphabet now? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Maybe like,
oh my God.
Google is
like
a verb.
Sesame Street or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any other staff member updates where people are? I know Jack Taylor's been writing books.
I
Denise
just ran
Weiner
into
lives near me. You guys
Who does?
remember Denise?
yeah.
So she lives not too far away.
I know, I was trying to connect her husband does the music in that little old town. And so I was trying to connect my sister. Yeah. I was trying to get my sister who lives in Fredericksburg. Her husband also does, like, he plays a guitar and he goes and does different places like that. And I'm like, you guys need to get together. You guys would get along really well.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. And then we had like a mini reunion, which actually was for the class of 84, but because my sister was part of it and she was in town, I got pulled into it. So Paul and Carolyn Koenig were there. And so that was they're hilarious. I never had good conversations with them before, but it was really funny. Carolyn is a riot. I had no idea.
Yeah, I liked her. I remembered, you don't remember when she spoke in chapel and she was like, well, Michael Jordan was in my English class.
Yeah, it's funny because
They made fun of her when I was on Student Chapel. So.
Yeah, and their youngest son goes to UNC Charlotte, which is where my youngest just graduated from last year. So it was kind of funny. I was like, wow, some of these people like, and then some of them got married, like Denise got married the same year we did. And I was like, she was my 10th grade dorm mom. Like, how does that work?
That is funny.
Well, when I was at RVA, like, when was that? 2015, 14, 16? I can't remember. But I took my family, and Beth Tippett's daughter was like graduating with Stockton's daughter. It was so, or something like that. It was just weird. I was like, wait, what?
I know. It's like worlds colliding. It just doesn't.
Anyway.
I know.
I've
Well, Beth's
recently.
daughter is married to a Wilson now.
Who is?
Beth's daughter.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Beth
She
and
married
Jeremy.
his
She's
grandson.
married to Wilson.
Yeah, Jack Wilson. That's crazy.
Grandson.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. We ended up at do you guys, I don't know, anybody who went to LAMU, Paulson, Scott Paulson.
I went to LAMU.
Yeah, and he was our pilot. And
Yeah, he's
you
not.
know, yeah,
he's
so
not
Ken
doing well.
Paulson's older brother, Scott. So Scott and his wife live here in our area. And it was funny because I went to the ER one time and for like stitches, and the nurse that was doing all the stats and everything, she was asking these questions. And I think I was making some joke about having tetanus and growing up in Africa or something, or needing the tetanus shot. And she was like, wait a minute, what? And then we realized, putting two and two together, that it was Scott Paulson's wife, who's my ER nurse in our little town. But it shouldn't be too surprising because we do have the JAR Center, which is, you know, a little bit of a mission base right here. So we do end up with a lot of people. Philip, did you come here to JARS? Did you do training here or something?
I didn't do. I used to work for MAF, which did a lot of stuff with us, but
Okay.
never.
It seemed like there was somebody who was here doing some kind of training at one point.
Oh, that could have been.
No, I mean they came through. What year was that Donna and Ozzy came through, and they stayed with us for Christmas, which was a riot. So they stayed. A friend of ours was leaving that's 2 doors down, and so they got to stay in her house. And so we had Christmas together, which was kind of a fun combination of an American and a Australian Christmas traditions. And they wanted all the like Christmas movie stuff to happen here, and I'm like, yeah, we're not going to have snow, we're in North Carolina. So it was like, I think 70 degrees on Christmas Day, and but we went ice skating anyway, so that was kind of fun having our my oldest dated theirs oldest for like a split second. That didn't go very long, but I thought that would have been kind of fun. Like Christy and Jesse's did the same, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. Genevieve, are
Where are
any
you
of
in
your
North
kids
Carolina?
married?
And just south of Charlotte.
Okay.
All right, I gotta go, guys.
Bye, Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Great seeing you all.
Yeah.
See you.
Yeah, I have one. One of my kids is married. They live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh, cool. Love it. So maybe you'll have grandkids at some point soon.
They're not in a hurry, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't have lots of time and energy to devote to grandkids yet. So.
Right. You're like, I've got one still snuggling in.
So was I the first?
I think
Yes,
you
I
were.
think you are.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm thankful it was you and not me, because that's been my paranoia. You know, it's always those like scary stories. People are like, well, it's prom night. And I'm like, shut up. My kid is not. So it's like you make it through each of these milestones and there's still no kid that's showing up in these, you know, and now they're engaged. My youngest is. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of waiting. In fact, somebody said the other day, they're like, oh, your son is engaged, right? I'm like, no. She's like, did you say no? I'm like, yes. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit in denial. Yeah, I guess he is engaged after all.
That is so funny.
That was my youngest too.
Yeah. Wow.
Kid, my daughter.
Carl, how many do you have?
I have 3, 2 boys and a girl. So 2020. Let me see, what month is this? This is 25, 24, and no, 25 for, she must 21, 23, must be 21, 23, 24. So
Super crazy.
And I think Annika was
Sometimes
the
I like
first
that.
to get married.
Goodness.
I was thinking I was, but you were.
I was married in 94.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I think you're the first.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Andrews was pretty close after that.
Yeah, we had a
Oh.
bunch in 95
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because Becky was
then,
October 95.
But then we waited for like 9 or 10 years to get our first child. So our eldest is 17. So
Yeah.
we don't have that old children yet.
And it was so fun to see Tim and Vila's daughter in the Olympics.
It was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Tim in her eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are
No
some proud
Alani, right?
parents. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, that those mean Australians to take the medal off her. It was cruel.
Wow. Well, you guys, this has been a real fun 2 hours. So thanks for getting on. I was like, is anybody going to do this? And you did. So that was so fun.
Yeah.
I love reconnecting with you guys and so grateful for each of you. So thanks. Have a good Saturday or almost Sunday for Philip.
Good to see everybody.
Awesome.
Really nice.
Love it. I
Good to
love
see
it.
you. We'll have to do it again sometime.